Hello. It goes. Can't decide whether I should put Zelda music on or if I should just use one of my MSUs. I'm just gonna do Zelda music, and then my backup save has an MSU on it, so hopefully not have to use it. But if we do, we can show off the MSU. Game Boy Zelda. It's this one. Actually, I should check to make sure it's still there. It didn't get deleted. Probably should have checked that like an hour ago. Yeah, it's yeah. We'll just go regular. This is important, though. Wonderful. Hello, everybody in Nissan land. My name is Sean, also known as Secretly a Sliver. With me here is Chexhuman, just to explain some stuff that I don't really fully know myself. Say hi to the people, Chex. It's going pretty good. So this run is A Link to the Past, randomizer, vanilla preset, all dungeons, restricted major glitches. So this is gonna start out with some action on my end. So I'll just ask Chex while I'm doing this little beginning bit here. Introduce yourself a little bit, tell the people what you do, and then explain what RMG is. Sound good? Try again.
All right. I am here, if anyone can hear me. So we have the benefits of randomizers. If anyone's with us, hello, I'm Chex. And we have all the quality of life that we get from randomizer. And so we have the ability to use an MSU pack if we like. We can choose our own sprite, and we have quick swap. So we do not need to use the start button to access our items if we don't want to. You're a quick swap fan, isn't that right, Sean?
Not so much, but there are some fun things that you can do. So first I'm gonna go in here and save the princess. But you know what? I don't think this sword that the uncle gave me is princess saving material. What do you think, Chex? I think we can do better.
I don't think you're going to use this sword against any bosses in this game, in fact. So if you want to upgrade it, that's fine with me.
Okay, cool. So let's just go sneak past the guards quick.
All right. So we have Lonk coming up here, and well done. Sean got into the castle, and we have a sort of a funny walk occurring, and this is because he was hit into the doorway and entered the castle, and it turned Link into having bunny properties. Hey, now we're invisible. And that's because Sean armed EG earlier, and we're allowed to use this trick on the overworld. It just allows us to get past sprites, and there we go. We got past the gold guards, and that is escape.
Yeah, so now we're gonna take a dive in the drink here.
Right, and so this is fought. Funny auto walk thing. And so we're using minute movements to clip past the collision of the diagonal wall, and there we go. Nice splash into the transition, and we got the funny auto walk thing past the gold guards again. This time we're going to Eastern Palace.
Yeah, Eastern Palace over in its traditional spot, over here on the eastern side of the map, right here in this little slanted wall.
That's right. And this is the citrus clip, which is a way of getting through these left slopes. And well done. Nice shortcut, saving time getting into the palace itself. So we see a P in the corner. This is a pendant dungeon, as we know from the marker in randomizer. Of course, we need to do all dungeons. It doesn't matter if it's a pendant or crystal. And this is the first one we do because we get the boots. But not only that, if we collect the mirror early, we can get out of escape more easily. And we'll see that later.
Yeah, so this is one of the more traditional dungeon clears. About half of the dungeons are going to be identical to NMG, but some of them you get to do in really fun ways. Unfortunately, there's not really a super fun way within the rule set to do this. So Chex, what differentiates RMG? So it's restricted major glitches versus no major glitches, but what constitutes restricted major glitches?
Yeah, restricted major glitches is essentially out of bounds glitches and screen wraps and some other things that are on the medium major glitches level. So it's a balance that allows lots of Zelda gameplay in addition to major glitches like going out of bounds.
Yeah, so we're gonna see a lot of screen wraps in this run. I'm gonna get some safety hearts because I don't want to be on one hit KO.
That's a good call. So around Eastern Palace we go. Yeah, Sean mentioned there's some other major glitches we could do if it were a different rule set. For example, door glitches and quadrant glitches are not allowed in this rule set, and that's okay. So now we're going into the back of Eastern Palace. This will be much of the same this will be much of the same as in the NMG speedrun. So we collect the key from the Igor. We collect some arrows to prepare for the Yarmos Knights fight.
Don't let the fairies kiss, you know.
That's right. So we are into ZGR. We get nice RNG. Sean recognizes a fast, aggressive skeleton and moves back around that. Nicely played. And so here we are in the Eastern boss fight. And we have to shoot it with wooden arrows. What an indignity. We should upgrade to silvers as soon as we can.
We should get a better weapon, but I think if we get the boots, we can get to the upgrade faster.
And that's true. So boots are the next item. We just simply turn in the green pendant and we get the boots. Of course, it's still raining. We will take care of that soon. Since it's all dungeons, escape is a dungeon, and we do need to complete it. We'll do that soon.
Need some...
John's picking up some bombs here. Why do you need bombs?
Well, we need to go to Palace of Darkness, and as we all know, you need to blow open the entrance to Palace of Darkness. But well, right now, I just got a notification. My library book just came in, so I better go get that.
Oh, like a telepathic notification from the library?
Yeah, from Zelda or the librarian. So let's take a swim. Get your Monka swim emotes in chat as I line this up.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think it's important to swim to your local library. There we go. And now we are slope swimming. Well done.
So I have a few screens to swim through. Can you just give a brief explanation as to what I just did?
We do have a few screens to swim to. Yeah, not only did we clip past the ledge and get past sets of gold guards, we're also simply using this navigation to get to the library. And we got the fake flipper glitch. Of course, we don't have flippers. And then we started slope swimming, which is a way of swimming through solid collision, and that was found just 3 years ago, so it's one of our newest major glitches.
Alright, everybody loves the Kakariko Village music. Let's sit here and listen to it for a while.
For one screen.
We're done. We're never visiting Kak again.
Yeah, so we get overworld music, if I remember correctly. The transition is not giving us rain state.
Oh yeah, it is still raining, isn't it? I'm getting soaked here. Let's take refuge under this tree.
Okay, there's a screen wrap, so what do we call that? That's a Death Mountain ascent, and we can get to the old man without the use of the gloves to lift the big heavy rock, and we can simply enter through a different way.
Yep, and we gotta save this old man because he's got a mirror for us, which is important for the next trick I'm gonna do. This is called the Silver Surfer, taught to me by This Is Not Yoho. So first,
we miss Yoho.
We do indeed. First, we're gonna come up here. We're gonna wrap the screen up to the Hera screen and go into this portal. And then we're gonna jump down a few screens. Do not attempt to adjust your television. We are controlling the transmissions. These falling Lionels are very normal. We're gonna set a portal here. And now we're gonna do another one of those swim clips that Chex was talking about. So we're gonna get a free fake flipper here. And now we're one screen to the right of Hyrule Castle, so we'll do one of those swim clips, and we're gonna clip into the Hyrule Castle courtyard, and we're gonna find that portal that we left, and that portal will take us to the pyramid. That was a weird hop, but it worked.
Yeah, the screen wrap allowed us to misplace a mirror portal, and so it's set in the courtyard. And there we go, we got silver arrows and gold sword.
Yeah, see, that is prime princess saving material, wouldn't you say?
Right. Yeah, so let's save Zelda and beat the game.
Alright, so even though I have silvers, the arrow route on this is kind of tight, so I'm not going to use them at all. I'm just pre-menuing to bow so that A, I'm not on mirror, and B, I need to be on the boomerang whenever I get it, so that's why I'm on silvers, even though I'm not going to use them.
And we have gold swords, so a lot of enemies are taken care of in one slash or one dash.
See how much easier this is when you have butter and boots?
I believe you, that is easier. I'm not sure I've done this. Unless I played some sort of V18 randomizer where a gold sword was in the first couple of chests.
So that's one of the fun little quick swap things that you can do is you get the boomerang and then you press the right bumper and the sword button on essentially the same frame, and then it sends the boomerang to go get the key, so you don't have to walk all the way over there. So that's just one of the advantages that quick swap will give us. That's bad RNG, but it's fine. Deal with it.
Nice fight.
All right, Princess saved. And I need
all right, so now we have to go through the sewers, right?
Yep. All right, we're done. So I needed to save and quit there. I needed to save and quit there in order to set my mirror spawn point back to the sanctuary. I'm not 100% sure why that needs to happen, but it does.
Yeah, I don't know the technical details, but you're right, it changes your spawn point since you entered from the front.
Yeet.
Alright, that's the Kiki. So now we're doing the Kiki skip. Like Sean mentioned, we need a bomb to get into Palace of Darkness. It just makes this clip so much easier. We're going to use bomb clips here. And this, of course, is Spectacle Rock, but it's positioned on the map in such a way that if you transition south, we are in the Palace of Darkness screens. And we are in cave state, which means keys don't work the same way. In fact, when we enter a cave, we have 255 keys, so we can simply open as many doors as we like. And opening this door is helpful. So there we go. We're in pod now. We reloaded it from the front because now first of all, we need that to happen because we need to complete the dungeon. The game doesn't know we're in pod until we enter it from its entrance. And the sprites were unloaded or loaded on a different map, I want to say. That's not a good way to put it. Basically, the sprites were not spawned where we were, so we've spawned them back.
It doesn't crash the game if you open every door. It's just not very fast because you can't use the mirror when you're in cave state. So this is why I reloaded the dungeon here so that I could mirror from here.
Yeah. So now we just need the hammer and to complete the rest of the dungeon like quote unquote normal. We do, in this category, in this rule set, we do have the ability to get to Helma another way through the use of a basement clip, but that's not the strategy we're going for in this route.
You said you weren't going to mention basement.
I said I was. Sometimes when I make promises, I forget that I've made them.
No, so there is a way to go into pod basement and clip through the rail to open Helmasaur's door. The advantage to that would be that the pod big key also gives you, I believe, all of the Light World big keys. Is that right?
It's sort of a mix of Light World keys, yeah. I'm not sure it gives you the Eastern big key.
Oh, well, that doesn't matter because we have to do Eastern the regular
it doesn't matter, yeah. You're basically right. So, yeah, in that route, it saves on Hera and Desert, but it's a bit convoluted, and we don't need it at this. We're just not going for that.
Getting both of these, I normally wouldn't get both of those in a PB attempt, but if I don't get them now, it's going to be drop dependent, and I don't really want to be drop dependent right now.
Right, so we have the moving wall cutscene. We do have silvers, so Helma will not be a big deal. Of course, we still have 5 hearts only, so it's not a free fight, but it's not too difficult either.
Well, something that makes it easier is that in vanilla preset, if you play the same seed over and over again, you're gonna get a lot of the same boss RNGs because they are seeded. So I'm gonna look really cool because I'm gonna dodge all of Helma's attacks, but it's because I know what he's gonna do at every point.
That's right. That's another advantage of vanilla preset. I forgot to mention that.
You know, I think you also forgot to mention the biggest one: no text boxes.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did forget about that. No text boxes. So most of the text box time is taken up in the crystal cutscenes in the vanilla game. So we do not have those anymore, and we don't need to mash after receiving this crystal. We can just move on. We do get a nice fanfare break, but that's it.
Yeah, so that can make vanilla preset seem a little more rushed than the regular game, in my opinion, because there's somewhere around 10 or 11 minutes of text in the normal game, but that just gets skipped. So there's a bigger sense of urgency in preset, but I've gotten used to it over the few months that I've been doing this. All right, so this is an alternate way to climb to Hera that's a little bit faster. Clip through
It's
there.
another screen wrap.
And you're in Hera.
And okay, so how does this go? So we're going to escape now.
No, this is Hera.
Key.
Don't you remember this room?
This is Hera.
Don't you remember this room from Hera?
That's right. And we're picking up the hook shot, which is also in Hera.
Yes.
Now it's all coming back to me.
Need another small key. Not for right now. This is another advantage of quick swap here is that I can use the boomerang to pick up that key, and I save time not having to hit the crystal switches.
Nice boom and dash.
Alright. Free coffee break in this mode. Just fire an arrow, get on the thing.
Way to not soft lock Link by, for example, standing in the corner of the peg. So another thing you did was you used the lamp, and I imagine that is to set up for fake flippers later, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do a fake flipper in Swamp to go get the hook shot, and I need to clear my search index because I've had an arrow on the screen recently, so that's why I lamped 3 times there. In the regular run, you would just do it after this little thing, but in preset you can do it anywhere.
Yeah. All right, so we have the big key now, and it's time to collect a couple of items. So we'll get Moon Pearl and Hookshot, like I mentioned. Not much to say about that. But we do have an extra key. That's why we went to escape.
Yeah,
and we'll need to use that in the swamp middle room.
Yep. So this part is like NMG, and then it's very much not like NMG.
Yeah, nice spin setup to get to the last pixel, and the bomb launches us across. Then we have what's called a dash citrus, and we can position Link in a way where 2 frames of dashing put us on a nice place where we can teleport. Well done.
That was really fast for me. I'm usually really slow at that.
I believe the text speed is slightly faster in Randomizer, and we can technically select buffer a little bit faster than in the vanilla game. I might be wrong about that.
I'm gonna do a safety strat here. You're supposed to jump out of the water and reset Link there, but I'm gonna take a 5-second time loss to remove the soft lock option.
I think that's a good call. And wow, we were a little bit close to death there. But we're fine.
I also kind of suck at the Hera pot that you're supposed to do, so I'm just going to red pot here.
And we can immediately use the hook shot for a glitch. And there we go. Nice Hera pot.
Almo's dream matchup, Moldworm with Gold Sword.
Easy boss. And there we go, another dungeon clear.
A lot of the combat in this run is pretty trivial, but you still do have to, you know, pay attention and be in the spot that you're supposed to be in, or things can be very things can go sideways very quickly. Speaking of going sideways, Katy Perry, please.
Oh no. Okay, so one great advantage of having Gold Sword early is we can pick up the Ether Medallion right next to Hera before getting down into the Dark World. And so after Hera, we can use a Death Mountain Descent to get into the main part of the Dark World, and we're going to clear a lot of dungeons in one play, basically.
Yeah, so this is a route difference between the vanilla preset and the regular AD RMG run. On the regular ROM, you would go down to Thieves Town here because you need to go and get Tempered Sword, but since I already have Gold Sword, I'm just gonna go straight to Skull Woods here.
Right, so in Skull Woods, it's essentially the same order as in other speedruns. So we have the big key that we need to collect the fire rod, and then we'll collect that and just go to the second half of the dungeon.
Yeah, so this is going to be another dungeon that's identical to NMG. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this dungeon. It's not as dangerous as NMG because you have a little more health, I think. Oh, maybe not.
Yeah, the health looks a little precarious since we're just on 7.
So this strat here is another quick swap only strat. It's actually 20 frames faster to mirror out, but in the regular run, you wouldn't want to take a full second to save 20 frames. That doesn't add up.
Oh yeah.
Oops. That's not good. Whatever. I've definitely bonked off that wall into that beetle and into the pit before, so I'm glad I didn't do that on Nissan Marathon Day.
Now we have the Mummy Hellway, so let's see how this goes.
It was just simple Joe mummies. If anybody ever wants to learn Link to the Past speedrun, that's going to be one of the things you're going to learn.
Yep, well done. And we usually use 2 slashes into the spike just like that. And Gold Sword does the same as spike damage.
Yeah,
nice fight.
So I did do the same strat, even though I don't need the damage from the spike. It actually freezes the mummy in a good spot, so I just use the spike anyway. And yeah, 0 spike moth, whatever, easy game.
And in the vanilla game, we're not able to do the fight quite like that because Gold Sword does not work on moth with simple slashes, and you actually need to use pokes to get it to do anything.
Yeah, not dash pokes like I just did. That's Gold Sword damage. You can't do Gold Sword damage to moth. You have to hold the sword out and poke her.
Yeah, that's another little benefit of using the randomizer on.
So now I'm gonna go to Thieves Town. Again, traditionally you do Thieves Town first, and then and then you get Tempered Sword, and then you get Sea House Rupees, but since we're not going back up to Skull Woods, I'm just going to get Sea House now. And since this is the randomizer ROM, there is a required trick that you're required to do for leaderboard submissions. That's called a Muffin Stash. You're not required to do that. It's
GG Muffin Stash.
Yeah, thank you.
And going into Thieves Town, we will be picking up the mitts here, and we don't really need to use them that much. We do need a glove to get past the block before Cold Stare, but otherwise we don't really use them too much.
Yeah, I think that's literally all you use them for, is to pick up the block. So we need one glove, and the mitts are just easier to get than the power glove.
Yeah.
So this is just, there's no shenanigans here. This is just a normal Thieves Town clear. It's a lot faster because of Fast ROM. This dungeon tends to lag a lot on the regular Link to the Past ROM. So what some Super Nintendo games have is like a second board with another chip on it that eliminates a lot of the lag from the game. Link to the Past, they took that out to save money on cartridges, and the game ran fine without it, so they just left it out. And the rando developers put it back in.
Simple as that. Alright, so we bomb the wall. The floor, that is. And we're letting light shine in to the boss room.
Here's some more like hookshot stuff that's usually not worth it. I probably should have picked up that bomb, but oh, come on. This D-pad on this controller is kind of going, but I didn't want to re-pad right before the marathon. Alright, and we don't have a glove here, so we have to kill all these guys, which is fine.
Good demonstration of what happened.
Anyway. Yeah, that's totally why I did that. Sure. Okay.
And having hookshot to deal with Baris is quite nice.
It really is, and then you also get to do stuff like that. I don't know how many people knew that you can hookshot to those locks, but it is faster than dashing, because it doesn't have to charge as much.
And a great benefit is it prevents bonking on those doors.
Sure does. Oh yeah, if you stun an enemy and then you leave the super tile, the enemy disappears, but weirdly, if you just kill them regularly, they stay dead. Yay, Zelda.
Zelda.
Bread joke, it'd be half-baked! Ah! Got him. Good one, Blind.
So the jokes might be randomized, but Blind is not. Blind is a scripted fight, and there's no RMG in it.
As long as you make the same movements every single time, then you will get the same result. That's why it's called that's why people call it a scripted fight. And I just went through my blind script that everybody has different little things that they do for blind script, so it's, there's a lot of stuff you can do in that room.
Yeah, that's actually kind of a funny thing about learning this game. I found the first phase fairly easy to learn, and for a while I was a bit maybe self-conscious that I didn't really know how the second or third phase were really supposed to go. So just sort of came up with some of my own movements. And really, they, like you said, if you come up with your own movements, you're going to still get through it fine.
Who needs a duck? We're just gonna go to Mire the intended way.
Yeah, so we're not loading the screen normally. A nice medallion slash, by the way, saving 5 frames or so.
Yeah, or so. That's like probably the newest bit of tech that's in this. That was discovered about a month ago by DoomTap and Spaces.
Yeah. So here we go. We're in Mire, cleaning up the west side of the world. And nice fast Mire too, with a fire rod splash.
It would have been if the fire rod didn't splash. Yeah, so normally when you do Misery Mire in, say, an NMG run, you set up an altitude variable that prevents that splash damage from happening. In this run, you don't get the opportunity to set up that altitude variable, so that does tend to happen sometimes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm less familiar with that happening because I haven't learned that strat for runs. But
Yeah,
I will pay attention to that for 80 RMG.
Yeah, it doesn't usually happen because you guys usually do the Mire super jump, and that includes a. Does that include a save and quit? No, you go straight from Hera, right?
Yeah, from Hera.
There is something.
Oh yeah.
There is something that resets your altitude, though. I forget what it is.
That might be the pendant.
Yeah. So that won't happen in any run except this one, because we're going straight from Thieves Town to Mire, and the altitude's wonky.
Or the medallion.
So if you don't want to do the early hook shot like I just did, this is where you would get the hook shot. You would just go back into the room where I lit the torches to open the wall and do a bomb clip, which would take you to the Hera pot room, and you fall down to Petting Zoo and you clip into Swamp the same way I did before.
Right, and with that knowledge, this was the basis for some of the logic of glitched randomizer, and nowadays we play hybrid major glitches for anyone interested in the logic for randomizer, glitched randomizer. And there's a tournament coming up for anyone interested.
I'm
this
interested.
Summer. Yeah, so that's getting started next month.
Alright, so you may have heard from NMG there's something called spooky action at a distance, which involves that altitude variable I was talking about before. We're still going to do it, but we're going to set it up a little differently. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to place a Samaria block here so that I can hit the switch faster. We're going to throw this down into the pit, and that will give me the altitude that I need. Let's go.
Well done. And so there's a couple of things going on that we're not really explaining very well, and that is that the altitude of that block is shared with the splash damage of the fire rod, and so that splash damage is sort of misplaced. And is able to hit the switch. Now we have the Vitreous fight, an all-arrow Vitreous fight, very nice. The other thing about that glitch is that the altitude of the block is like how high the block is above the ground, and what happens is it hits 255 when it disappears, basically, which gives you a maximum height of splash damage from your fire rod.
Right. So since we're here, might as well just go to Desert Battles.
Convenient.
So this is kind of a quote-unquote normal dungeon in that I'm not going to do any major glitches inside of it. We're just going back to front, basically.
Yeah, and we have the advantage of the mirror. We can use that to get back to where we started. It's known as our second palace of the game after we get the first one after we get the boots, so it has nice long hallways that encourage us to use the boots.
Tried. Take those goofy cannonballs. Right. Now we go kill Lanmo, and Bo Lanmo is a really precise fight. Like you have to have good movement and be able to time slashes, and it really is kind of a grind fest.
That's true. So we hope for a 2-cycle here, right?
Yeah, I think I can manage that. Maybe.
Okay, if we don't die
Can't
first.
even do this room right. All disasters. I'm just gonna pick up these arrows. I don't really need them because I picked up arrows before, but it makes the torches easier.
Yeah, those are fast.
All right, here we go. This is a really hard boss fight. And we're done.
Well, you took damage, but it didn't really affect the length of the fight.
All right, so this is actually, like, seriously, this is actually a very dangerous part of the game. So I'm gonna need some Prage emotes, and I'm gonna take my headset off while Chex explains what I'm doing here.
Oh, okay. I thought I was gonna be silent, but I won't. So we need to clip out of desert to do a map wrap to the ice rod screen. And so what Shauna's gonna do is hop down, and here we are on the ice rod screen. Now we cannot get nudged at all to the right, and we are safe. If we happen to go right, even being nudged by a wall, we soft lock, basically. We infinite scroll and we cannot progress. And if that were to happen, we would lose 5 dungeons of progress, I think.
Yeah.
So it's pretty
it's a good
deadly
bit,
in
yeah.
this.
All right, so I'm just going into Hera to reset my camera here, and now we're gonna go into this portal normally because we need to be not screen wrapped in order to do this screen wrap. So I do a down teleport and some funny movements.
The TR wiggle. And this is a mirror wrap. So Sean used the mirror on the same frame that he hit the left transition, and this put Link in a strange spot where once transitioning to the right, he gets a long scroll and is positioned right at Laser Bridge, which is convenient. Oh, using an arrow there is nice and safe. I like that. So
yeah, that guy always spawns in the middle of the walkway, and I always end up like slashing him or whatever. And then a couple days ago, I was like, why don't I just shoot him? I have to menu pass the bow to get to Kane anyway.
And easy. Oh yeah, that's right. We can skip this key.
Yeah, because this next door that I'm about to go through is normally a small key door, but they removed it for rando.
Yeah, normally in the sense that if you're playing a glitch run, you will see that door, but it is removed for randomizer, for glitched randomizer.
Yeah, and technically Vanilla Preset has to be rolled as a no logic randomizer seed because of some of the key layouts. They would not generate under the normal randomizer. That key spawned way too low.
Right, and another feature of the ROM is Ganon is simply vulnerable at any time. It's a it's a feature of Randomizer that there's a goal associated with Ganon's vulnerability, and um, that lets us play on vanilla preset however we like, basically with whatever goal. So we'll get to Ganon, and he'll just be vulnerable. We are completing all dungeons just because that's the goal of the category, not because we really have to. Oh, so here we go. 0 cycle. Well done.
Yeah, that's not easy. It took me a good while to learn that, but once you get used to it, it's fine. One of the things about Fast ROM though is that Trinex spawns like he's shot out of a cannon, so you kind of have to back up a little bit out of the explosions to get the correct things.
I kind of love that. For some reason, it's supposed to be a surprise anyway, and I've seen someone lose a life there casually, but it just makes sense that it launches at you at full speed.
So since we didn't open the TR entrance, we have to mirror, but that's fine because we're gonna jump off the mountain down a waterfall and visit fish.
And Zora's domain is looking pretty normal here. Nothing much to say.
Yeah, so this actually, you can see the textures which make the dashes that look like they're in deep water happen. It's because we're trying to make slants out of squares. If that makes any sense.
Makes sense to me.
Alright, well that's all that matters. Alright, now we go to my house and we just go to Swamp the very normal way, but we've already cleared about half the dungeon, so we're gonna have a real easy path to Argus here.
Yeah, in glitched modes, we often see a path from swamp to ice, and we'll see why later. But it's...
You dare.
Oh no! Okay. We didn't take damage. What I want to know about this category is, have we timed Scudge Woods? Have we timed a route from exiting T-Rock to the boss?
Man. Yeah, because that's what I need is another hard lock mirror wrap.
Yeah.
Or map wrap, not mirror wrap.
That's right. So
that's what I need is another hard lock in this run.
Yeah, the map wrap takes us directly to the back of Skullwoods, with, just entering the key door, the key pot room, beforehand, and it's used in 100% RMG in the vanilla game. I'm kind of curious if it could be used here, but the disadvantage to that is we can't do the DMD to flippers like we just saw, so those would have to be collected in some other way.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like in Hundo you're getting the Quake medallion, and this we're not. And the only time we're like up at TR is like when we do it right there. So if we don't get flippers, then we would have to run all the way to Zora, and that's very slow.
Yeah. All right, so we get to use Diver down here, and let's see how Sean pulls it off. We get the nice swim into the block. Well done.
So technically there's like a way that you're supposed to do that on the left side, which will save the spin. I timed it out, and they're actually kind of the same, weirdly. So, I don't know. I'll go with the one I can do better.
Yeah, it's definitely a comfort thing. I find that I don't really know precisely the most consistent inputs to get the swim clip. So for me, it's simply just I'm going with the one I'm more comfortable with. We get some fast hook shots here thanks to the fast ROM implementation. Nice zero cycle.
Easy game.
Nice fight.
Alright, and we're gonna set up for another mirror wrap to get over to Ice Palace. This is another thing that can hardlock, and I've been hardlocking on this recently, but I don't really lose very much progress if I do, so I didn't take a
That's
safety
true.
save for it. Gonna hook speed and clip into here. Go onto here. Now I just nudge up to that part of the screen, and that should be good.
You went up on the upper part of that
I think
window.
I was on the last pixel, yeah.
I wasn't scared at all. Yeah, so this is a nice way to get into Ice Palace. It's a shortcut, but we can always do it even without the use of the mitts. So it saves a little bit of time, and it's good in randomizer.
Yeah, if we didn't do that shortcut, we would have to go back to the light world, and that's like every way that we get to the light world is pretty slow. So it's nice that that exists.
A nice ice thing to get through the wall.
Yeah, icebreaker. Rando fans will definitely know what that glitch was. So since we did the bomb clip and we had to hit the switch to get out of the room, everything's kind of set up for us that we don't really need any extra keys or the big key or anything. We can just go straight to Gold Stair, which is nice.
Yeah, it is nice. The vanilla key in that chest makes getting the key nice and easy. We don't have to lift a rock to get it. And now it's time for Gold Stair. And we have Gold Sword, unlike the vanilla game, so it'll be a little different. Or it doesn't have to be different, but we'll see how Sean does it.
I get kind of lazy with Gold Sword, honestly.
So we use the 6/ strat.
Oh, 3/.
-3.
Stay hydrated, y'all.
All right, so that takes care of Ice Palace. So how much of the game do we have left?
Well, we need to kiss an old man, and then we need to kill a lizard twice.
That sounds about right.
There's the old man kiss. We have about 11 minutes of this run left. So again, we do the Hera climb and enter and exit Hera just to fix the camera. Otherwise, I wouldn't necessarily know where this portal was.
Yeah. I would encourage you to not enter Hera, but it does make that navigation easier.
We're gonna do another screen wrap, which puts me clipped into the right side of the GT staircase, so I just hold right, and it kicks me to the left because of collision stuff, and I go up the stairs, and then we skip the cutscene.
Yeah, the G Tower clip is nice and easy. Yeah, so here we are in Ganon's Tower, and it's a fun dungeon. We get to, you know, enjoy the content of the dungeon, basically. Nice spike skip.
Spike skip into messing up the crystal switch.
Yeah, that like kind of like messed with my brain a little bit too, because did you even use an item menu? Because that can be pretty helpful in vanilla.
Oh, no, I didn't use the start menu at all. I just raw dogged it.
Right, that makes sense.
I always go for that. I'm about 40% hitting it, which honestly is not that bad.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Even if I miss
Sure,
it doesn't waste a whole lot of time. It's worth trying to go for it and save the 20-25 frames. All right, this is a really cool ice armor strat that Yurok taught me.
Nicely done.
All right, now we're climbing.
Yurok is a 100% NMG runner, so he knows the strats. He's developed strats for 100% NMG, so that's a good teacher to have.
I'm gonna show off the quick swap strat here. So, friend Tenet figured out that you can just quick swap to hookshot and you can skip all the spikes just like that, instead of having to dash in that room.
That's convenient. I would fear you would go too fast.
Could probably stop using arrows.
We do have 5 arrows, and we need 4 to kill Ganon.
Well, we still have to kill the other wizard, and there's 5 at the end of his dungeon, but I need arrows for Rambo.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was a cool strat, though. Regardless.
I did press the button to cancel, but that was another controller contact pad issue.
Nice one, Cycle. Yeah, so I haven't figured out how to get those arrows, Malmo. The Circle of Pots has arrows. I just find it awkward. I haven't figured out really why. It's really not that bad, but there's a spark that spawns. Ouch.
Yeah, I must have been 1 pixel too far to the left, because that setup is supposed to not let that happen.
I don't think there's a 100% successful strat,
yeah,
though.
it's like 2 out of 10,000 or something on that pixel.
Okay.
Yeah. A little low here, so I'm just gonna wait for those sparks. Yeah, I believe it was Zelna did some science, or no, it was FSG did some science on that bridge room, and did some like 10,000 attempts of every pixel to see what the chances were to get knocked off.
I think that was Pinkus.
Oh, was it Pinkus? Okay. Sorry, Pinkus. Can't keep track of what everybody's done. There's so many people who have contributed so much to this.
There are. And here we are at Aghanim 2.
Yeah, this is one of the more annoying boss fights in the run, because his patterns are just extremely unpredictable unless you've generated a seed with seeded boss RMG, and then I know exactly what to do.
Nice 2-cycle.
So, if you hate Aga 2 and you want to look really cool in front of your friends on stream, get a seeded thing that puts them in those positions, and it's free.
And, okay, so we want to watch out that we don't fall in this hole that was created for us. Let's go into this dungeon first.
Yeah, this is called Don't Be a Dingus, because when I believe in Rando, whenever you have not finished your goal and you get Ganon to phase 4, he calls you a dingus. Or he used to,
right.
I don't remember.
Right. I know Daddy says, do you have wax in your ears? I don't remember which lines use which words other than that.
So I could just drop into Ganon and kill him, but this category demands that I do all of the dungeons, and Castle Tower is a dungeon. Vanilla preset I don't believe is set to AD. I think Chex said something about that earlier.
Yeah, it's not a ROM setting. It's the category. So that was a nice key dash. Did you line up with the wall there?
Yeah, I did. That only works, like, I want to say it's like 50-50 to work. That's not how I normally do that run. There's the
hookshot is so nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm using hookshot instead of boomerang because of something coming up in, what, 3 rooms, I think? Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I've never hit this in a run before, even though I try it every time. Nope.
Yeah, it's the hook speed that John was going for. That's okay. So here we have Aghanim 1, and we don't need to worry about RMG because it's set to 0 blue balls, and we can just not worry about it.
I also know the points that he's going to warp to, so I'm going to knock him as far as I can towards those points in order to save a little bit of time on warping.
Yeah, warping time can be surprisingly...
It's like up to a second and a half.
Yep. Now it's time for Ganon.
Yep.
And we're making good time here.
We are indeed.
Let's have a nice fight. We do have gold sword, we do have silver arrows. Won't be too bad. Already into phase 2. We're slashing. We're using dash strats just because.
Because I don't really like to be lazy on Ganon, so because I'm gonna need to like keep my tempered sword muscle memory, and it doesn't matter if I mess up because I need half the hits I normally do. All right, so this is pretty hard to hit, but it can save like a second and a half or so. So what I need to do is put a silver in him, get torch glitch, and then do a triple. Or sorry, it's this, and then he goes down here for the double.
Nice fight.
Base? Oh, this is a PB. I think I just missed the sub hour. I think it's going to be 1 hour flat.
GG's.
1 hour and 1 second.
Congrats, PB. Nice time. I like the symmetry.
Alright, well, I need to let these credits play because that's a PB. While that gets all started, thank you all for watching my run. I've been working really hard on this over the last 6 months or so. Thank you, Chex, for joining me in the booth here and explaining all of the stuff that I maybe don't know myself.
Yeah, it's fun talking about glitches. I like that this category starts with swimming, which was found in 2022 by Brahmin Meat. So we're able to use some of the recent glitches and put it all together, run through the game, and beat it in an hour. So well done.
Yeah, so I only need to take a second and a half off to get the sub-hour smilers.
Whatever you do, don't put that in the comment of your submission, because that means you'll never do it.
Yeah, so I'm just letting these credits play so that I have it for my VOD, but we can go set up the next run.
Thanks all. Thanks, Alex. It was fun to participate. So I will see everyone next time.
Alright, he's on the intermission screen, so we're clear. Ooh, I was definitely getting sweaty.
Yeah, nice way to keep up with pace.
I got a 5-second gold on that swamp clip. It was so fast.
Oh, the swamp clip. Now, which one?
The Herida swamp.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, so that was a 5-second gold, and then that put me 19 seconds ahead, and then I was actually minus 26 after GT, which is exactly how much time I needed to save for the sub-hour.
Oh, yeah. I see that.
So, I got a little nervous in Castle Tower, and then like it was still possible, but I had to get a gold Ganon to get the sub-hour, but it didn't work.
Yeah.
Oh well.